And that was my purpose. From that day, I knew every morning I got out of bed, I was striving to be an All Black great.
My 14-year-old son Ethan has got up especially early this morning after hearing Dan is going to be on the radio. Ethan plays rugby himself and absolutely loves it. Brilliant for teenagers to be into something that's so good for their body and mind, keeps them out of trouble, boosts their confidence and does wonders for their mental health. Ethan, says Sarah in Cardiff, plays for St Albans RFC, and any message from Dan would send him and all his team wild.
Oh, Ethan, great message. Thank you so much for taking the time to write in. A young 14-year-old rugby player. It takes me back to when I was 14 years old, and it's such a magical time. You're playing the sport that you love alongside your best mates, and every time you go out and play, you're trying to emulate your rugby heroes, and that's what I was doing. And there was Jonah Lomu, Andrew Mertens, Christian Cullen, All Blacks at that time. That every time I was playing with my mates, I was pretending to be one of those players and trying and sidestep or run over people. I wasn't very big, but that's what Jonah Lomu was doing at the time, so I'd try and do that. It is a really magical time, so thanks for the message, Ethan.
Yeah, well, that gets us beautifully into the book. It wasn't my intention, but there you go. Dan Carter, The Art of Winning, 10 Lessons in Leadership, Purpose and Potential. You talk about yourself as a kid there. You talk about yourself as a 5-year-old in the book, watching rugby on the telly, then going into the garden and trying to emulate or recreate what you'd just seen on the pitch. I mean, clearly you were better at it than most of us do, that kind of thing. How early on in your life was it evident that you had something going on?
Well, it wasn't that evident at all, to be honest. I always had this dream, and yet, like the dream of that 5-year-old boy that you just talked about. I remember watching the All Blacks play in the 1987 inaugural Rugby World Cup, and the All Blacks and the players that were playing. Really, something was ingrained in me from that moment. That was my dream. I want to be an All Black. I want to be like John Kerwin. I want to be like Michael Jones, some legendary All Blacks of that time. I never thought it would happen because I grew up in a little country town of only 700 people. And I thought All Blacks supposed to come from these big cities of Auckland, Christchurch or Wellington. But anyway, that dream became a reality in 2003. And I thought that I could die the next day and die a happy man. But as soon as I walked off the field from that first test match, I was like, I don't want this feeling to ever end. I don't want to be just an All Black that plays half a dozen games or 2 or 3 seasons. I want to strive to be an All Black great, like those great All Blacks that I wanted to be as a kid. So I went to the changing room and I was like, well, an All Black great, what does that mean? Okay, well, it means you need a career in the All Blacks for more than 10 years. And means you need to be the hardest working All Black because you're going to have a lot of competition, a lot of opposition. They're going to try and take you out. It also means you're going to have to evolve because the way you're playing now is going to be very different to the way you're playing in 10 years' time. So all of a sudden I had some kind of structure of like what it took to strive and walk towards trying to be an All Black great, and that was my purpose. From that day, I knew every morning I got out of bed, I was striving to be an All Black great.